Welcome, my friends, to English Mindcast Daily. Tonight, let us begin softly, like a quiet story beside a warm fire. The room is still outside. The evening air is cool. Somewhere far away, a church bell rings. Or maybe a small family song rises in a village street. Close your eyes and imagine two hands meeting. Close your eyes and imagine a small round ring in the palm of a hand. Imagine the touch of metal, smooth and cool. Imagine a promise so small you can hold it, but so deep it can live inside the heart. Have you ever looked at a wedding ring and wondered why it is round? Did you ever wonder why people wear it on a finger? How did one small circle become a sign of love? Why did people begin this tradition? What if a ring could speak? What stories would it tell? Today we will walk back in time to explore the hidden history of wedding rings in simple English, and we will learn through a real story. The dream began with a simple human wish. People wanted love to stay. They wanted a promise to be seen. Words can disappear in the air, but an object can stay in the hand. So long ago, people began to give small things as signs of trust. Here's the surprising thing. A wedding ring was not always only about romance. In different times, it could mean family, duty, safety, money, or respect. It could say, "This person is joined to me." It could say, "This promise matters." It could say, "Remember this day. Say it with me. This promise matters." In early times, many people lived close to the earth. They worked with their hands. They watched the sun, the river, the field, and the seasons. Life was not easy. Food, shelter, family, and trust were very important. A promise between two people was also a promise between two families. Why did they need a sign? Because people forget. People travel. People change. A small ring helped carry a promise through busy days. It was like a quiet voice on the hand. Some accounts describe very old rings made from simple materials. They were not always gold. Some may have been made from plants, reeds, leather, bone, or other things people could shape. We do not have every detail. Time has covered many early stories with dust, but the idea is clear. A circle had power. Why a circle? A circle has no clear beginning and no clear end. It goes around and around. In simple words, it looks like forever. So a ring could become a picture of a dream. Two lives joined, not for one day, but for many days. But there was a problem. Love is private, but marriage is public. A feeling lives inside the heart, but society wants proof. So, over time, the ring became more than a sweet object. It became a sign people could see. Imagine a small home in an old town. The floor is rough. The air smells of bread, smoke, and rain on stone. Families stand close together. A young person holds out a ring. The ring is simple. Maybe it is not beautiful in the way we think today, but everyone understands it. Have you ever held something small that felt bigger than itself? A photo, a key, a gift? A ring is like that. It is small, but it carries a whole story. Then something changed. As towns grew and trade grew, materials changed too. People learned to work metal better. Metal was strong. Metal lasted longer than plants or leather, so rings became stronger signs of a lasting promise. Some people used iron, some used silver, some used gold when they could. Gold was special because it did not easily lose its shine. Try this phrase, it lasts for years. The dream was simple, but the doubt was real. Some people said a ring was only an object. Some people cared more about family agreements than feelings. Some people saw marriage as a serious social step, not a soft love story. In many times and places, young people did not always choose in the way many people choose today. So what did the ring mean then? Did it mean love? Did it mean duty? Did it mean safety? The answer is, sometimes all of these things, and sometimes only one. That is why the history is hidden. The same ring could carry different meanings in different hands. And that S, when the ring became a traveler, it moved from one culture to another. It changed shape. It changed material. It changed meaning. But it kept one important idea. It held a promise. In some old stories, people believed the ring finger had a special connection to the heart. Many people say there was an old belief about a vein, a small blood road, running from that finger to the heart. Today, we know the body is more complex than that. But the belief was beautiful. It helped people feel that the ring was not only on the hand, it was close to the heart. Did people know the science? Not fully. Did the idea still touch them? Yes, because stories do not always need perfect science to shape tradition. Sometimes a story survives because it feels true to human life. Here's the surprising thing. The wedding ring was never just metal. It was a message, it said. "I choose this bond," it said. "I will remember," it said. "My hand carries my heart. Repeat after me. I will remember." As we walk farther through time, we see the ring becoming part of ceremonies. A ceremony is a special public event. In simple words, it is a moment when people gather and say, "This matters." The ring made the promise visible. People could see it, touch it, and remember it. But the story was still growing. The small circle had more roads to travel, more hands to touch, and more meanings to collect. It was moving from simple promise to lasting tradition, from family agreement to personal dream, from one quiet hand into the wide human heart. Over time, the wedding ring entered many kinds of places. It appeared in homes, temples, churches, city halls, and quiet rooms. The place changed, but the gesture stayed. One hand gave, one hand received. A circle moved from palm to finger, and a new life began. Here's the surprising thing. The ring was strong because it was easy to understand. You did not need many words. You did not need a large house or a rich feast. A ring could speak in silence. It could say, "We are joined now." But there was another problem. Rings could also show power, and sometimes they were connected with property, family deals, or social rules. This part may feel less romantic to us today, but it is part of the real story. Human traditions often begin with mixed meanings. They carry beauty, but they also carry the habits of their time. Why should we care about this? Because it shows change. A tradition is not frozen, it grows as people grow. The meaning of a ring can become warmer, kinder, and more personal as ideas about love and marriage change. Say it with me. Traditions can change. In many places, the ring slowly became more connected with personal love. People began to see it not only as a sign for families, but as a sign between two hearts. The dream became softer. It became more about choosing, caring, and staying. Imagine a small workshop. A craft worker sits near a table. The room is dim, tools rest nearby. The worker holds a piece of metal and shapes it slowly. Tap by tap, turn by turn, the metal becomes round. It is like a tiny moon. It is like a small door. It is like a quiet promise waiting for a hand. Have you ever watched someone make something by hand? Did you notice the care? A ring may look simple, but it needs patience. It must fit. It must be smooth. It must be strong enough for daily life. And daily life is important. A wedding ring is not only worn on a special day, it goes into ordinary days. It goes to the market. It goes to work. It touches cups, doors, books, clothes, and children's hands. It becomes part of life. Then something changed again. As more people could buy metal rings, the tradition spread wider. Rings became common in more communities. Some were plain, some were decorated, some were passed down in families, some were bought new, some were expensive, some were very simple. But what makes a ring valuable? Is it the price? Is it the shine? Is it the story? For many people, the answer is the story. A plain ring can hold a deep heart. A rich ring can feel empty without care. The metal is only the outside. The promise is inside. Try this phrase. The story matters. In different times, people also changed how they used rings before marriage. Some traditions used a ring to show a future promise. This is often called an engagement ring. Engagement means two people plan to marry. In simple words, it is a promise before the wedding promise. But there was a problem. Not every person had the same freedom. In many old societies, choices were often made by families, rules, or money. Some people had little voice, so the ring could be a sweet sign for one person and a heavy sign for another. We should remember this gently. History is not always perfect, but learning it helps us understand the long road toward kinder choices, and that S when the wedding ring began to carry a new kind of dream. As ideas about love grew, the ring became a sign of two people choosing each other more openly. It became less about control and more about care. This did not happen everywhere at the same time. Change is slow. Change walks like an old traveler. Have you ever seen an old ring in a family box? Maybe it has scratches. Maybe it is not bright anymore. But those small marks are not mistakes. They are memories. They show years of meals, work, travel, worry, laughter, and quiet evenings. Repeat after me. Small marks tell stories. Here's the surprising thing. A wedding ring becomes more meaningful because it is worn. A new ring may shine, but an old ring has lived. It has touched real days. It has stayed through easy times and hard times. That is why many people feel moved when they see an old wedding ring. The ring also became a kind of bridge. It joined the private heart and the public world. Inside, two people might feel love, fear, and hope. Outside, the ring showed others that there was a bond. This bridge helped people remember their place in a shared story. But then the world grew larger. People moved from villages to cities. They crossed seas. They met new customs. They carried rings in pockets, boxes, and bags. Wedding traditions traveled with them. Sometimes they changed in new countries. Sometimes they stayed almost the same. Why do traditions travel so well? Because people carry more than clothes and tools. They carry songs. They carry food. They carry words. They carry dreams. And they carry signs that help them feel connected. One more time, we carry our dreams. The wedding ring also changed with fashion. Fashion means the style people like at a certain time. Sometimes rings were wide. Sometimes they were thin. Sometimes they had stones. Sometimes they were plain. But the circle stayed. Again and again, the shape returned. This is how the ring survived. It was simple enough for many people to use, but deep enough to hold many meanings. It could be humble. It could be beautiful. It could be old or new. It could be worn by rich people or ordinary people. It could sit quietly on the hand and still speak loudly to the heart. At last, the first payoff of this long story is clear. The wedding ring became a worldwide sign because people needed a small object for a large feeling. They needed something daily for a lifelong dream. They needed something visible for something invisible. But the story is not finished. The ring still had to face modern life, new ideas, and new questions. What does it mean today? Why do some people still choose it? Why do some change the tradition? And how can one small circle still make people pause, smile, and remember? Today, the wedding ring lives in a very different world. People meet in new ways. They travel farther. They speak across screens. They build love across cities, countries, and languages. But still, many people choose a ring. Why? Because the heart still likes a sign. Here's the surprising thing. Even in a modern world full of messages, photos, and fast words, one small ring can still feel powerful. It does not need to shout, it does not need to explain, it simply stays. But there was a problem in modern times too. Some people began to ask new questions. Do we need a ring? Who should wear one? Must it be gold? Must it follow old rules? What if two people want a different kind of promise? These questions did not destroy the tradition. They changed it, and change can be healthy. Many couples now choose rings that match their own story. Some choose simple bands. A band is a plain ring. Some choose family rings. Some choose handmade rings. Some choose no ring at all, but another sign of love. Does that mean the wedding ring has lost meaning? Not always. Sometimes meaning grows when people choose it freely. When a person says, "This is our way," the object becomes personal. It is not only old custom, it is a living dream. Try this phrase, "This is our way." The smart solution of the wedding ring is its flexibility. Flexibility means it can bend or change without breaking. In simple words, the ring can hold old meaning and new meaning at the same time. It can remember the past, but it can also welcome the present. Imagine a wedding today. It may be large with music and many people, or it may be small with only a few close faces. There may be flowers, soft clothes, nervous smiles, and hands that shake a little. Then comes the ring. The room becomes quiet. A small circle moves slowly. Everyone understands the moment. Have you noticed how people become silent during this part? Why does a tiny object make a room feel deep? Maybe because everyone knows promises are not easy. To promise is to step into the unknown. To wear a ring is to carry that step every day, and that S when the ring becomes more than decoration. Decoration is something used to make things look nice. But a wedding ring is more than beauty. It is a daily reminder. It says, be patient. It says, come back to kindness. It says, remember the person beside you. Say it with me. Remember the person beside you. Of course, a ring cannot save a relationship by itself. Metal cannot speak for people. Gold cannot listen. Silver cannot forgive. A ring is not magic. The real work is done by people. They must talk, listen, learn, and grow. But symbols help. A symbol is one thing that stands for another thing. In simple words, it helps the heart remember. A ring can remind someone to pause before angry words. It can remind someone of a promise made on a bright or quiet day. It can remind two people of their shared dream. Here's the surprising thing. The power of the ring is not only in the wedding day, it is in the small days after. It is in washing dishes. It is in walking home. It is in saying sorry. It is in holding a tired hand. It is in choosing the same person again and again. Have you ever made a promise to yourself? Have you ever needed a sign to remember it? Maybe a note on the wall, maybe a photo on your desk, maybe a simple word in your mind. Humans need signs because life is busy. Signs bring us back. Repeat after me. Choose again today. The legacy of wedding rings is not only about marriage, it is about how humans give shape to invisible things. Love is invisible. Trust is invisible. A promise is invisible. But a ring gives them a small shape. It lets the hand carry what the heart feels. This is why the ring has crossed so many years. It has lived through old towns and new cities. It has seen fear, duty, family, romance, loss, and joy. It has changed with people, but it has kept its circle, and the circle still whispers the same soft idea. Stay close, remember, and care. But then we must ask one last question. What is the true hidden history of wedding rings? Is it the metal? Is it the finger? Is it the ceremony? Maybe the hidden history is this. People have always wanted love to be safe in a changing world. Some people had little. Some had much. Some lived in stone houses. Some lived in wooden homes. Some traveled far. Some stayed in one place. But again and again people looked for a way to say, "My heart is here. One more time, my heart is here." And maybe that is why this story still feels close to us. A wedding ring is not only about the past. It is about every person who wants to be trusted. It is about every family that wants peace. It is about every dream that needs care to survive. Think about your own life. What promise are you carrying now? What small sign helps you remember who you want to be? What will you build with your hands, your words, and your heart? Maybe your sign is not a ring. Maybe it is a habit, a letter, a place, or a quiet morning choice. But the lesson is gentle and clear. The strongest promises are not only spoken once, they are lived day by day. So tonight when you see a ring, do not see only metal. See a long human road. See work, change, fear, courage, and a dream that keeps returning. See a small circle holding a very big heart. Good night, my friends. May your words be kind, your promises be steady, and your heart feel warm as this story ends.